All right. Am I on? Yeah? Hey, how's it going? Are you excited? Oh, God. I'm gonna die here. No, seriously, are you excited? Come on, give me some. Yeah? All right. Here we go. Here we go. I mean, my secret sauce is like I always draw the energy from the crowd. So if you're not excited, I'm not gonna be excited. So I kind of expect you to keep going with me. It's supposed to be 15-minute slot, but I'm gonna try to make it fun to some extent. We'll see. There'll be some geeky stuff. There'll be some, more serious stuff, and even more serious stuff. That's how it should be. So the title is a little bit cryptic because are we gonna run an adoption service for chatbots or something? Who knows? I actually don't know yet. I haven't figured out what the talk is about. We'll wing it. We'll get there. I've done this talk before, so I'm just pretending I don't know what I'm doing. So the agenda for today, are you working? Hey. We're going to try to answer a few questions. What do the chatbots eat? Do the chatbots have dreams? I mean, that's pretty important. And what are the usual chatbot challenges? And we're going to finish with basically a live coding session where I'll try to build a chatbot that will actually do something. I will build it from scratch so you see how hard or easy it is to do. And I do recommend you that you should try it at home. Nobody's gonna die if you fail, so it's a pretty safe thing to do. Okay, so let's start with a pretty serious question that every 6-year-old will ask you. What do chatbots eat? Anybody knows? Any ideas? No? I mean, the answer is pretty obvious. It's pizza. But, just like every developer, chatbots do eat pizzas. And we'll get back to the pizza later. This is going to be a bit of a running theme. What about dreams? Do you think they dream of stuff or not? Anybody? No? Yeah? No, not so excited. Yeah? All right. So chatbots do dream, and they do dream of electric sheep. Yeah? There you go. So the next one is, what are the usual challenges? And this is basically a lot longer question. So when you build chatbots, it's like a lot of us think like, okay, I usually have this path where I have to ask this question, I get an answer, then I ask this question. So I could probably drop a lot of if statements and few switches, and usually people will do exactly what I expect them to do, and then at the end, we'll have a complete conversation. And if any of you work in software for more than a year, you know that people never do what you expect them to do. They always do the opposite. Only the testers seem somehow to do what you expect them to do, which is kind of funny. So some of the challenges. So I kind of reviewed different types of chatbots that are out there in the market, and they kind of struggle with some of the issues. Like one of them is the fixed decision trees, right? So the idea is that most of those chatbots will follow just one specific path. You always ask question 1, then question 2, then question 3. If you provide any type of information too soon, then this will very often be disregarded. And then the user will be asked later on. So let's have a look at a scenario. So you're opening a chatbot and you say, hey, I want to book a flight to London for next Wednesday, right? And the chatbot goes like, sure, where do you want to go? I was like, I just told you, but apparently the chatbot was expecting you to just say hi. You're being rude. You did not introduce yourself. What the hell is wrong with you? So I was like, okay, where do you want to go? All right, I want to go to London. I said so. When? Well, I want to go on Wednesday. Sorry, I didn't get that. When? Well, it turns out the chatbot expects you to spell out a specific date. I was okay, I can do that. And then it kind of like for how many people. And now we actually finally getting to the point where we should have been at the beginning, right? So the fixed decision trees is usually an issue. Like chatbots should be able to recognize that you provide information early and then take it for later to kind of construct the whole conversation. Next one is the lack of understanding of business entities. So if we're in a hospital, the chatbot should understand what sort of doctors you have, what sort of rooms you have. Or if you're in a hotel, it should understand what are the hotel rooms or facilities, or a restaurant, you should know about the food that you're serving, right? So, and this is really, really important. So if you have, for example, a conversation like this, hey, I want to meet with Dr. Burke on Tuesday. And it's like, well, I'm not sure I understand you. And the problem here is really that if in my hospital there is a Dr. Burke, the chatbot should actually be aware of all the doctors. So it should automatically be able to kind of go with this path where you say, hey, I want to meet Dr. Burke. It does some thinking and it kind of recognizes, okay, so you wanted to meet Dr. Burke. I actually have the full record, and he's not just Dr. Burke, he's John Burke, and I have some more information about him. You also probably want to book a doctor, and you kind of said Tuesday, so I assume you meant that specific date. And you see, like, the understanding of the information that you provide automatically is a good start for the whole conversation flow. And then at this point, the bot can recognize, like, yeah, sure, let's get you an appointment for Dr. Burke on Tuesday, and then we can kind of continue with that. Another one is a lack of proper acknowledgement. So sometimes you provide like a few pieces of information, and you might not be sure whether the chatbot received this information correctly or not. Especially like if we go through this fixed decision trees, like we saw at the beginning, like you would want to know that the chatbot received the information correctly and it knows what you're talking about. So let's look at this example. So, hey, I would like to sign up for a health insurance for a ski trip to Italy from March 6th to March 9th. So you see, like, we're providing a lot of information now, right? And then if the chatbot responds with something like, what's your age? You're not entirely sure whether he knows that you want the insurance, whether he knows that you want to go to Italy, and whether he knows that these are the dates that you're asking for, right? So although this is not necessarily a huge problem, it kind of makes the user a little bit uneasy. Like they will go like, okay, I think I might trust you, but let's see how it goes. What would be better to do in this case, it will be to go this way. So, hey, I want that insurance to Italy, March 6 to March 9. And then the chatbot can respond stuff like this, like, hey, a trip to Italy is always a good idea. Okay, so he knows I want to go to Italy. Then let's find you an insurance for this to this date. Okay, so he also understood the specific dates I'm asking for. And then when he's asking, what's your age, which basically means, okay, he got the first two pieces of information, it's ready to continue with my conversation, and I think I'm on a good path, right? So this feels a lot better. Dealing with ambiguities. So it's more like when you provide the same kind of like a type of information and the chatbot is not exactly sure whether to pick one or the other, there should be a really easy way for the chatbot to kind of give you an opportunity to specify exactly what you want, right? So if you have a scenario like this, say, hey, I talked to Dr. Burke and he told me to book an appointment with Dr. Alcott. And if the chatbot responds with, sure, when would you like to see Dr. Burke? It's kind of confusing because they go like, no, I want to see Dr. Alcott, right? I just spoke to Dr. Burke, but in fact, I want to see the other doctor. So the better way of handling this, it will be something like that. Yeah, I spoke to Dr. Burke, want to see Dr. Alcott. And then if the chatbot is a little bit confused, it could say, hey, can you specify which doctors you mean? And yeah, it's not 100% perfect in a way, but at least you're kind of giving the user a quick way to fix. Say, okay, yeah, I actually meant this doctor. And then when they chose it, we can continue with the whole conversation. No long-term memory. So very often the chatbots will be designed in such a way where each individual conversation will be treated as like a brand new conversation, right? So it's like this chatbot is like basically like a person with amnesia, right? They'll be able to take you through the whole route really, really nicely, but they won't remember what you told them last week, which can be an issue sometimes. So let's have a look at this example. So you say, hey, it's me again. Can you book me an appointment for Dr. Burke on Tuesday at 11? So it's clearly somebody who's been coming over and over again to book this appointment with the same doctor. And then at this point, it was like, yeah, absolutely. Let's book you an appointment for this date at 11 a.m. Everything seems fine. And then it asks, like, what's your phone number? And then the person go like, don't you have it already? Like, I told you it like 20 times before. So a lot better, what we could do is, like, if somebody had the same conversation with us a few times, we should be able to recognize that and remember it for the future. Because basically, those are machines. Machine can store data. This is like the easiest thing they can do. So if somebody tries to book an appointment, And then instead of asking them for the phone number, what we could do is say, hey, is this your phone number, right? And if they say yes, then we just continue. If they actually want to give us a different number, they can just say no, and then provide us with a new number. Trick question, anybody knows what this number is for? It's a number for the Prime Minister of the UK, Theresa May. If you call it, she'll answer. Well, somebody will, but that's her phone number. I looked it up. And I may have called. I don't like the whole Brexit idea, but that's a different story. Challenge number 6. So very often, like the chatbots, what we think of them is more about text kind of thing. Like even like, but the thing is that like you can use the chatbot in a web browser, or you could use it in a mobile application, and you have opportunity to use additional UI controls to drive the conversation forward. Just like when we're asking for, like, is this your phone number, or which doctor do you want to see? You see, like we can already use some additional UI components to drive the conversation, and instead of making the user type a lot of stuff, we could actually give them opportunity to make choices. Okay. So here's one example. Can you book me an appointment with Dr. Burke on Tuesday? And you could say, yeah, I understand you want to meet with Dr. Burke. What time? And you say, well, how about 12? Sorry, Dr. Burke is busy at 12. What time? You see what's happening here? He's probably like available maybe at 2 or 3 different slots, and we basically expected to keep guessing the time until he's ready. And then it's like, yeah, this is going to take a while. Sorry, didn't get that. So a lot better way to do is, again, we start. Want to see Dr. Burke on Tuesday. I understand. Here are the available times that the doctor is available, right? And like this is so much better. Like we use the UI to provide the user with the options of available slots. And sure, 12 is not available, but then at this point the user can go, well, 11 is close enough, or maybe I still want to do it after lunch. I'll pick the one at 3 p.m. Right? And this makes for a lot better interaction and for a lot better user experience for people who interact with our bots. So all of that, like working with those challenges sounds easy, right? Well, so at Progress, we actually tried, like this was basically what sort of triggered the whole idea of chatbot. We tried to build this virtual assistant that allows you to pick a meeting room, right? Like we have, tens of meetings rooms in the office, and we just wanted a easy way where somebody goes like, yeah, I want to use this meeting room for this many people at this time. Like it sounds really easy, right? So what we did, we kind of drafted like a graph of decision trees of how the whole thing would work. And this is the picture of the graph. I mean, super simple. So if you wanted to have like a bunch of for loops and if statements, like you're going to work on this project until you retire. Right? This could be your cash cow if you have somebody foolish enough to sign it off. So really, the whole thing is that like with a lot of those chatbots that are out there, they have to have more of like a predefined path. So what we would have to do actually is say, instead of supporting all the possible scenarios, we would have to probably go with like 3 or 4 happy paths, and then just support those. And if the user does something wrong, we would just say reset, start from the beginning. That would teach you, kind of thing. I don't know. Like some people like heavy metal UX or just X. So as a result of all that, we decided to create a native chat. And that's basically an AI-powered platform for creating intelligent chatbots. So we're using like different things like natural language processing, etc., to make sure that you can actually have a nice, fluid conversation. So you don't have to say only accept this kind of sentences, but we can even try to infer what people try to mean by what they say. And instead of actually using like languages that we use on a daily basis, like JavaScript or Java or .NET, where you would write a lot of loops and if statements, we actually went for a declarative approach. So you declare more, like here is the conversation steps that we want to handle, and the engine can help us take care of that. So, and we're using JSON for that, which you will see later on makes a lot better fit for that. And then basically, we actually was one of the first customers. It was a Dr. Sheriff Hospital, so it's a local hospital here. And they kind of looked at it as not using chatbots to replace the people that are working in the call center, but it was more to help them do their jobs better. So it wasn't like saying, hey, if we introduce this product, people will lose jobs. No, if we introduce this product, people who we hire there, we have better value because they will be answering difficult questions as opposed to, like 1, 2, 3, okay, we'll sign you, right? So that kind of like made it a lot better. And then also as a result, like decreased by 49% the workload of the workers there, so because they could focus only on more tricky challenges. All right, so I'll give you a few examples of like how native chat does a good job. So if we have like an insurance agent kind of app, the natural processing language is one of the really useful things. So you can actually go and like write the messages in the language that you speak. And by the way, yeah, we support like 72 different languages. So technically you could also go with Bulgarian. I'm not going to attempt to type that myself. I can decipher Cyrillic. I can't write it. Sorry. I'm Polish. Don't blame me. But the cool thing is that you don't have to follow exactly specific syntaxes, but you write as you speak, which is very, very important. We have a whole bunch of acknowledgements, right? So if you write this kind of information, automatically you get all sort of prompts and information that, yeah, we got the information you want to pass to us. You have the slot algorithm, so that's, again, using the conversation UI. So in this case, if we ask you what's your gender, we'll give you a pop-up saying female or male. There's actually more than those two categories, but that's, again, another conversation. You can also have different list views to display a lot more different options. So if you have more than 3, you don't want to have 27 just tiny boxes. What you want to do is like use a better UI. You can change. You have opportunity to change the intent. So if at one point you said, I want to book something for this date, and just before you are about to complete the conversation, you want to change your mind, very often chatbots would take you all the way to the beginning, say, okay, let's start again. What you can do in here instead is say, actually, I want to do this, or I want to change that, right? And this allows you to, rather than restart the whole conversation, just change one tiny bit of it. Automatic confirmations. So we also can give you a place where a user can look at all the different options, and they can either press confirm or just say, oh, I want to change this detail. And then that as well makes it for a lot more fluid, the conversation, and then ability to push the conversation in one direction. Conversation UI, so that already popped up a few times, but yeah, you can have like a carousel that displays images and allows people to use to make different choices, which is very, very useful. Frequently asked questions. So this is a really cool one. So you could be in the middle of conversation asking about different stuff, and then right in the middle you might have a question that is sort of relevant but not important to this conversation, and you could actually, like in this case, you could ask, hey, does your insurance cover this and this case? And then in this case, what we can do is say, okay, let me check my FAQ list, give you the answer, but then I'll bring you back to this conversation, say, okay, I gave you the answer, let's carry on. And this is the other important part. Like once you jump on like one specific conversation, the bots, they drive you to complete it. Like they will do everything they can so that you complete. So that it also helps people not to drop out. So like when you ask the FAQ, they'll give you the answer and then come back because they always want you to complete the whole story. And value suggestions. So this is the one where we can use like a memory. So if you already provided us with an email in the past, we can actually suggest, say, hey, do you want to use this email that you already had with us, which is really cool. There's also an algorithm for image recognition. So you could say, hey, I want to fill a claim. give me a picture of your receipt. And then in this case, if somebody gives us a picture of a cat, which is not really a receipt, we could go like, hey, yeah, I like animal pictures, but give me the receipt, please. Let's be civil here. And this is really, really helpful. So I hope that gave you a good insight to what sort of things we were trying to do. And then I'm going to do a quick demo and try to build a chatbot from scratch. So I think you should be able to see. So I went basically to portal.nativechat.com. And then you can go there and you can register an account. And then from there, you can write the whole chatbot. So I already created a blank chatbot that has no changes whatsoever, just to save a little bit of time. And what I want to do, just like this picture suggests, I want to create a chatbot that allows you to order pizza, right? Like, what time is it? Yeah, it's 11:30. Lunch is coming, so yeah, let's get a pizza in. So there's already a couple of conversation in here. There's a conversation that just says, this is conversation 1. Like, how amazing is that? No, it's not. Let's do something serious. All right, so we're using IntelliSense because you don't want to type everything all from scratch. Sorry, so it's not step, it's a conversation that has a goal. And our goal is capture enough information to order a pizza, right? So I'm going to call this conversation pizza order. And we'll have a bunch of steps. So how about I just start with a very basic step that displays a message so that we know that we are doing something right. So I understand that you want to order a pizza. Okay? So when we get to this conversation, when we get this message, that means that we jumped on the right conversation, so at least we kind of trigger things. So in the training, this is where the brains of the whole thing is. We can teach the bot to recognize when you want to actually jump on the path for ordering a pizza. So I'm going to add a new conversation, and this is going to be called order pizza, just like I had it before, and expressions that can trigger it. So I can say, I am hungry for... I want to order get me a pizza now. I mean, you can be impatient, etc. And you can write multiple versions of that. So this basically quickly retrains the bot so that it can understand this kind of conversations. Okay, so now what I can do is open my test terminal and then trigger the conversation. So I can say, hi. Yeah, so this is a welcome conversation for your chatbot. There's different options. We're going to clean it up later. But what can I say? I say, okay, so we had, I want to order. I'm not going to write exactly. I want order a pizza now. And we're experiencing technical difficulties at this moment. What did I do? What? To order a pizza. Ugh. That's why you should never do live demos. Pizza is not defined. Okay, let's try that. Oh, was it pizza order? Let's see, what did... Oh, God, I'm a fool. All right, let's rename it order pizza. You see, I mean, this wasn't staged, right? If you make mistakes, you pay for them. So, hi, I want to order a pizza. I understand you want to order pizza. Hey, we're getting there, right? Awesome. It's also we get some understanding. So you could see my chatbot saying, Yeah, okay. We go in on the conversation. It's going to be order pizza, and I'm 91% sure that this is what you want, right? Which is not what users normally see, but this is your debug console that you can look into as you go. Okay, so that's first step. But I'm going to remove it. So let's do something better. So some of the things that we might want to have is, for example, ability to choose the pizza size, okay? So I'm going to train the bot to understand like an entity of size. I'm going to make it static, and we'll have different sizes for pizza. So I'm going to say, let's have a medium pizza, which will be 15-inch. Okay, that's one size. We're going to have also large pizza, and I'm going to make it 18-inch. So basically, what I'm saying here is that you can either say large or 18-inch, and the chat will understand both of them, right? You can provide as many synonyms as you want. Did I save it? No, I did not. Large, 18, save. And we're also going to do extra large. So we could do extra large, we could do XL, and maybe we can do 21-inch, because why not? We're all hungry here. Trust me, by the time I'm done, you all want to have a pizza. Okay, so we have some data. So we need a step that allows us to capture that information. So step question. So I'm gonna call it size, and then of type size, right? So this is just my name of a variable that I can use across the conversation. This is the name of the type that I had in the training, okay? And we can, for example, say, provide a message to prompt for this piece of information. So say, what size of pizza would you like? Or maybe you could do another one. How hungry are you? We can also do was it reactions? Sorry? Oh, shit. We can also add reactions and then add an acknowledgement. So if we provide this kind of information outside of this step, we could actually say, cool, let's say size it is. So I can use double handlebar to actually insert the size that you provided. And then I can also provide as many type of different versions of the same acknowledgement. So I could say, I understand you want a size pizza. And yeah, that's basically what we need. We could also do display type quick reply. So that's also like a neat trick, that instead of letting people type, we could give them prompts of all the sizes that are available. Okay, so let's test that. So one way I can say I want a large pizza. So you can see, without even getting to the prompt, the bot understood that I wanted a large pizza, and I'm on the conversation for ordering a pizza, and it gives me the prompt, like, cool, large it is, right? Did I do a question mark? You see? It's clever, it remembers that. Or if I come back and say restart the conversation, I can say I am hungry. And in this case, we're getting a prompt. So I can go and say, oh yeah, I want an extra large pizza. And that works. In this case, because we're selecting one, we don't really need a prompt, because this is pretty obvious. And then finally, I can also say I want a 18-inch pizza. And that will also work because you understand the alias for 18-inch, but you kind of say, yeah, large it is, which is pretty cool. Next step. So one thing is where you have specific sizes. Like sizes don't really change very often, but for pizzas, you probably have a backend with all your pizzas that are available. So I have in my backend, so this is a Kinvi console where I have like a whole bunch of pizzas. So I'll have the name of the pizza, an image, and the type of the pizza. So, and then you can see like we have pepperoni and then various different pizzas. So I'm gonna, what I would do is actually I want to train my bot to understand it. So I'm gonna unsave changes. All right, let's save that. Don't know what I changed. So I want to train the bot to understand a new type of data. So in this case, it's going to be a pizza, and it's a dynamic type. And then I have to set it, give it some information. So the data will come from Kinvi, and then specifically app data / crazy character / pizza. And then I need to also give it authorization keys. Oops, what's going on? And that is going to be basic. And then add it here. So that's basically what we need in the headers. And then for each record, I'm going to extract the name. So you see when I run test, like this is the list of pizzas that we have available. Pretty cool. So I can create the entity. And you can see like we actually storing each of the records in our backend. So now I should be able to ask for it. So we had a step to get the pizza size, but now we can add a step with another question. And in this case, we're gonna ask for pizza and of type pizza. I'm not very creative with those names, but that should be enough. What pizza would you like? And then again, we could do reactions and add an acknowledgement if in case somebody actually types it, and then say, oh, yeah, awesome, let's be American. I live in London, nobody uses word awesome there, but for today I'm gonna do it. So pizza is our specialty, which basically means every of their pizza is their specialty, right? What we can also do is for reactions, not for reactions, for display, we could give it again, say, hey, check this data point and load all the pizzas and then give the options for the user. So I'm not going to type it all because that's going to take a little while, but I will take you through each of the steps. So instead of display, I'll use this. I need a comma. So what I'm doing here is say, I want to display it as a single select. So that's going to give me like a list view where I'll be able to select which pizza I want. And then I'm also providing a data source. So it's just very similar to how I was doing the training. So I'm providing an endpoint to get a pizza using get, and then also providing an authorization key. And then this is my template for how the information should be displayed to the user. So I'm saying the title, so for each item, use the name. For the subtitle, use the type from the record, or for the image, use the IMG property. And then we also have like a little button that can open the list, which I can say, pick your favorite pizza. And then the button that you click to select is basically select pizza. The really cool thing is, you may ask, like, why did I provide this endpoint here again, even though I had it in training? Because what you could do is, if my data allowed me to do, for example, like this, type, and then provide, let's say, pizza type. If I had an attribute, like you could actually pass in the attributes, right? So that means that you could make something that is more dynamic and then help you drive the conversation. What did I do wrong? Okay, so we have that. So I'm gonna just add additional steps. So once we selected the size and then we selected which pizza we want, we probably want a step to select the address. So I'm gonna call it address. And then that'll be of type text. And I could say, where should we deliver it? And then again, we can do, oops, need a comma. Reactions, acknowledgements. There's actually different types of reactions, like for ambiguities, etc. But no time for that. And then say, okay, we will send your pizza to, and say address. You better be there and have the money ready. This is Bulgaria. Smiley face. I mean, it's not threatening at all. I'm Polish, I'm not scared. Then what we can do is we could have like entities confirmation. So this is where you can give the user an opportunity to change their mind. So in this case, I could say order confirmation, and then here we're gonna list what things you can change. So maybe we can change the size, and we can change the pizza, but we don't allow them to change the address, right? So we could say, are you okay with these details? And that. And then finally, once the user confirms, we could have like a user webhook. So this is basically where we get to, like we had this whole conversation, the user confirmed that they want this pizza, and then you want to send it to your backend to process the actual order, to make it happen in real life. So I don't have like a specific address, so what I'm gonna go is with my magic pizza fairy.com. They exist, trust me, they exist. So in the header, secret key. Don't copy this. This is like, I can't change this key, but it is Sebastian. Seriously, this works every time. And then in payload, we can provide some information like food type. Food type. So we know this is going to be a pizza order. And then we could say name. And in this case, I'm going to use the double handlebar. So this will be our pizza. Size. So we can provide the size of the pizza and then the address, because the pizza fairies, they need to know where to send it. And I think that should do the trick. All right, should I test it? You guys ready? Let's see what we can do with it. So, yeah. Hi, I am hungry. Hungry for a pizza. Yeah, make it large. Okay, what pizza would you like? We can select. So you see the pop-up worked. We have like a bunch of pizzas with nice images. So in my office, there is a bit of a dispute. We're divided half and half. We have pizza haters who don't like Hawaiian pizza, and the pizza lovers who love Hawaiian pizza. I'm the pizza lover, so I'm gonna order one Hawaiian chicken. Chicken is more healthy than beef, trust me. So it's like, yeah, awesome. Hawaiian pizza is our specialty. Where should we deliver it? What's the name of this cinema? Arena? Okay. The Arena Cinema in Sofia. Cool. Are you okay with these details? Actually, you know what? I don't want large pizza. I'm really hungry. Let's go for extra large. Right? We changed it, and then we can confirm. And then that's how you go and order yourself pizza. And yeah, if this was like a real service, like we would have somebody walking in with pizza now. But then Magic Pizza Fairy failed me today, so hey, that's what it is. I can run it one more time to show you that you can actually even avoid typing some of the things. So I could say, hi, I want what pizzas did we have? Oh, I just want, pepperoni, right. So I want a pepperoni. I could say okay, I'll just do pepperoni. So you see, like, I'm kind of jumping one step, and then this asks me what size, so make it 15-inch. And yeah, the arena in Sofia. So you can see, like, the whole conversation is not stuck to just one flow. And that's kind of like pretty much the idea. And I took like 10, 15 minutes to do that, which is pretty cool. Is that a pizza guy? No? He should be here. So disappointed. Sorry? It's the ferry, right? Bulgarian pizza ferry. Oh, I got the address wrong. That's what it is. All right, cool. So I hope you enjoyed that demo. Click. I think this is pretty cool and pretty awesome, lovely stuff. I want to kidnap that dog one day. I would do it. Okay, so where to go next? If you liked my presentation, you can go to the website where we provide more info. So go to progress.com/nativechat. If you wanna play with it, you can register going to portal.nativechat.com/register. And then if you go to the address for /, that's where you can do all the code editing. We also have some good documentation. So we have stuff at docs.nativechat.com. And then there's a nice blog post that kind of talks about the stuff that I was showing you today. And yeah, you could probably follow us on NativeChat hashtag. I'll give you some time to take pictures. Oh yeah, you can also come to the booth. And this guy, he's building all this stuff. So if you have difficult questions, ask him, don't ask me. I'm just the pretty face that shows stuff. And I think that's it. So yeah, thank you for your time. And enjoy the rest of the day.